the regular season with the reigning two-time league MVP, with the best shooting backcourt in the world that we've ever seen in the NBA. This is what we get. Everything is just ruined. It's just ruined. It's just ruined, okay? No answer whatsoever for the Golden State Warriors. They could put up 120 a night if they wanted to.
That was Stephen A. before the season started. About last night, though, Kevin Love and the Cavs dominated the Blazers, putting up 137 points, which was the highest point total in the NBA this season, until the Warriors took the court and scored 149 points in their blowout win over the Lakers. Stephen A., do you still think the NBA season is ruined?
Yeah. I mean, I've said it, and I'm not changing my mind in this regard. And, you know, let me be very, very clear. I love the game of basketball. I love it just as much as anybody on the planet. I love this game. If it were not for the NBA, I wouldn't be where I am today. I love this game. But I love the game because of the competitive fervor that came associated with the game. I'm watching the Golden State Warriors right now, and like I said, it's a testament to the greatness of Kevin Durant. I consider Kevin Durant to be one of the top 2 players on the planet. He is averaging 27 points on 16 shots. He is shooting 57% from the field and 42% from three-point range. This is who they added to the best shooting backcourt we've ever seen in NBA history in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And as a result, it's a foregone conclusion. I guess what I'm saying is I know that I'm in the minority. I know that people are looking at me and folks want to crucify me because of that. I get it. I understand it. Because if folks want to see blowouts and all of that other stuff, I get it. The last 2 games, they've won by 37 and 43 points, okay? You know, this year, 23, 27, 21, 24, 37 and 43-point wins. We ain't even really getting started yet. They're still trying to find their groove and develop chemistry and all of this other stuff. And they're not just beatdowns that are taking hold. It's annihilations. It's like playing a game of horse. They're toying with people, and they're just getting started because they've had some rough edges along the way while trying to develop their chemistry. All I'm trying to say is that foregone conclusion, because of the supreme greatness of Kevin Durant, coupled with what already existed, is what turned me off. I'm waiting for the finals because I know what's going to happen, you know, in terms of Golden State, Cleveland. The other games where other folks are playing one another is very, very interesting. But the Clippers right now have the best record in basketball. And I'm sitting here telling you I'm not even taking them seriously. They have the best record in basketball, and I'm not taking them seriously. They come to the Western Conference Finals because they hate Golden State so much, and vice versa. Maybe, you know, something that'll get so tense, we might see, you know, I'm not advocating violence, but I want rough riders going at each other. But that's the only thing that I have to hold on to for hope. There's no one in the East that can touch Cleveland. And out West, how am I to believe in the Clippers?
This is one of the most interesting and exciting NBA seasons ever. Look, basketball is the greatest team sport, period, in the world. Oh, here we go. I'll fix that right now.
It's all right.
Basketball,
it's okay.
Basketball is one of the greatest.
They knew they didn't want to hear you talking basketball. That's why the mic dropped.
Stephen A. The mic drop is a sign trying to tell you something.
Whatever.
As soon as I talk, the mic drops.
Whatever.
Basketball is the greatest team sport in the world. It's the perfect team sport. That's why it's the fastest growing team sport in the world. And in this greatest team sport ever, you're actually complaining because a team that was already so good has now raised its potential to maybe unprecedented heights. So in the greatest sport, team sport ever invented, in the greatest league in that team sport, there is now an example of something that might be so good that nothing can beat it. And that's a terrible thing to watch, except that they don't have the best record in their own division, because as you mentioned, the Clippers do. Except that they just added a huge new piece. And what we've seen from recent basketball history, especially LeBron and the Big Three in Miami, is until you really get reps in playing with each other another team that's also excellent, that hasn't had to integrate a huge new piece or make huge changes, actually has the advantage. Making this eventual finals matchup that everyone agrees on, Warriors-Cavs, even more interesting. And the Clippers are still there. And I don't think they're going to go away. I think they're the kind of team that will have folks asking, wait a minute, maybe without Bogut and Ezeli and Spates and their bigs and having to integrate now Durant into this situation, maybe they're not exactly invincible. Maybe the Clippers can upset the apple cart. And the truth is that in most NBA seasons, you know who's going to play in the finals, or at least in the Final Four in the two conference finals. And usually you have a pretty good idea of who's going to play in the finals. And usually you have a pretty good idea of who's going to win the finals. In that way, this season is no different, except the stakes are elevated because it's going to be a rubber match involving two dream teams. And that's a bad thing?
Well, first of all, I didn't say that I wasn't looking forward to the finals. I mean, if you're going to get at my point, do you at least have the decency to listen to it and quote me accurately? I have no issue with the finals. I have an issue with the 82-game arduous task that you got to go through before the playoffs begins. That's what has me rubbed the wrong way. The fact that we've been stripped of any kind of suspense. Now, you could sit up there and make the argument. To me, the most poignant argument one can make, particularly yours, would be if you're talking about the Clippers and you're saying that the Clippers are a legitimate threat to the Golden State Warriors. In my opinion, the Clippers' best chance for a championship were blown a couple of years ago when Houston came back from that deficit in Game 6 at the Staples Center and outscored them like 49-9 with James Harden on the bench primarily for most of the time. Because the Golden State Warriors had not won yet, they were still trying to figure out how to win a championship, and I thought that was an ideal opportunity for Blake Griffin with Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan and those boys to take advantage of it, capitalize off of it, and win the championship. The fact that they failed to do so that year, and then Golden State has basically been the dominant fixture, and they know what they're doing now, the suspense dissipates dramatically. And then we got Durant with Steph and Clay. As a team, they're shooting as a team. They're shooting 50%
you made
of the
that
field.
point.
Let me
make 2 points here. One,
50%.
When the Dream Team got together in the Olympics in '92, that was awesome to watch. And had the Redeem Team also been in those Olympics playing against the Dream Team, and you would have gotten that in the finals, that would have been even better. That's what we have this year. 1, 2. When you're talking about all the rest of the NBA, look what's happening. The baby Lakers are on the come up. The Knicks are relevant for the first time in forever. Chicago has something like all three of the major markets are more interesting now than they've been in recent years. In addition to what we just discussed, Westbrook, can he average a triple-double? James Harden, same kind of thing. There are all kinds of interesting teams in major markets and great players doing interesting things in addition to the Cavs and Warriors.
Once again, you're not listening. I never disputed any of those things. What I said was the suspense about the road to the finals as it pertained to Cleveland and Golden State. I openly acknowledged before the season even began those other interesting storylines, but they pale in comparison to Golden State and Cleveland. And there's no suspense in my mind with the two. And I would appreciate it if folks would stop bringing up the Dream Team. We never saw Magic with Michael and everybody on the same team, and it's a 2-week period over the summer, not 6 months of an 82-game NBA schedule. They don't equate.
Right. So the additional interest all over the league is that the goodness of that is outweighed by the badness of a rubber match between two dream teams playing at unprecedented levels.
I want to see great guys going up against one another, not joined together. That's my preference.
All right, gentlemen.
That's my preference.
We got to leave it there.
Before the finals.
We could also make a strong argument that football is the ultimate team sport. That's why we're going back to it. RG3, we can, Max. That's for another time. Is back, everybody. He's back at practice for the Browns. But should we still have any faith in him as a franchise quarterback? We'll break down. That's next. And we've got a little game of thanks or no thanks for some NFL and NBA predictions, Thanksgiving style. Don't miss it.